Welcome to the Real Pro podcast, where we talk about the realities of the Philippine real estate market, from property investment strategies to the challenges facing real estate owners today. My name is Richard Tadeus. I am a real estate consultant and a land economist, and I am hosting this podcast. Today's episode tackles a very alarming issue that many developers and buyers are worried. Are we finally in a real estate bubble? Okay, for today, I want to open my statement that may sound a little bit controversial. Maybe the Philippine real estate market actually needs a bubble. In this economy, a bubble may finally help us correct these real estate prices. So let me explain first. What is a bubble? So a bubble happens when there are more supplies than buyers and there is a big variance between the market price and the inventory price of the developers. Now, let's go back to basic. Real estate is technically a cycle, and there are actually four stages of this cycle. So the first stage is expansion, wherein prices is just about to go up, and every now and then there's a consistent price increase. No, during expansion, you can make a lot of money depending on your entry and exit strategy. After expansion, the next stage is peak, wherein there are very little to no movements when it comes to property appreciation. But then there is still the hype of buying real estate properties or real estate condominium. And then after peak comes the recession, wherein property market starts to panic and then prices starts going down. Now there are more inventories rather than buyers. And in a recession market, you would feel na there is really a bubble that is happening. After the recession, the last stage of the real estate cycle is actually recovery, wherein it's going towards expansion again, and you just repeat the cycle. Now, a cycle would usually happen between anywhere between 10 to 15 years. In developed markets like New York, London, they would usually have the real estate cycle for around 8 to 10 years. So sa Philippines, no, so the last global financial crisis happened in 1999. So that was around 27 years ago. Ang tagal na nun. And the reason why we haven't had the bubble is because developers are actually regulating prices. So they're actually masking real estate prices in a way na sometimes, like, even for example, a two-bedroom dapat nasa 21 million lang. Pero they would increase it to around 30 million, for example, just to make the market believe na meron pa rin talagang bumibili nitong mga inventory prices na to sa real estate, no? Because parang developers can actually manipulate prices. So ang nangyayari is market would tend to believe na okay, sige, kahit naman hindi sold out or kahit naman walang bumibili, pwede pa rin tumaas yung price. Again, it goes back to the principle of supply and demand. So, nangyayari ngayon, developers could actually only cover this for a while, no? Pero parang after some time, it would really burst the bubble. And we know naman na nangyari itong mga to, especially nung time ng Pogo. And because ang dami na nangyari throughout the years, pandemic, and then Pogo, and then merong political factors, etc. And then mga corruption issues, pull out ng mga investors. I can name so much things na nangyari, and still we are not yet in a bubble. Then it means na we might actually be in denial. Now, let's talk about first the old Philippine real estate formula, wherein you buy real estate at a very low price, you try to hold it for a while, and then after some time, you sell it, no? This is the usual real estate formula that actually lacks a lot of strategy. But it's the very basic principle of real estate, long-term hold. It's not like stocks na mabilis yung volatility niya. Eventually, you'll wait for the environment of that development to be developed, no? And then once developed na siya, tumataas din yung pricing. Now, you can make a lot of money with this formula, but another strategy that you can do during a recession phase of a real estate is actually to buy when the prices would go down. So it only means na if magkakaroon tayo ng correction, a lot of property prices would go down up to 30%, which, by the way, would actually be the correct real estate market price, assuming na never nangyari yung POGO for 4 years, no? So I believe the condominiums that are priced for two-bedroom at around 30 million should only be 21 million. And condominiums that are priced around 10 million, probably a studio unit, should only be around 7 million. So the only way to happen this is if developers would start pulling down their prices. Ngayon kasi nakamask pa because developers would only give this 30% discount if you pay in cash. But actually, that discounted price is the real value of real estate pag in-appraise nyo. So, medyo mataas, 30%. Now, a lot of developers now are giving 30% when you pay in cash, like Ayala Land, Federal Land, no? While other developers, they give anywhere between 12 to 20%. But again, this is only applicable for cash payments. Okay, so now in 2026, investors are actually struggling to flip these properties while sellers are actually becoming more flexible with rent to own. Rental income is not matching amortization. So it's very hard to be able to self liquidate, and developers are adjusting payment schemes despite not giving discounts if you are not paying cash. So these are actually bad market signals, no? Na parang, again, this is a masking technique wherein we make people believe na meron pa rin talagang market. So the reason why I'm pushing for a correction or a bubble is for us to start moving. In a correction phase, there would be a lot of opportunities. Number one, of course, there are a lot of people with cash, especially these days. They are just really scared to buy or put their money there because they don't know what will happen. But also, they are not really that confident with the market, and they don't want to buy at a certain price point. They feel that even if they have the money, it might be too expensive for them. So usually, what will happen is they would wait for the property prices to go down before they would actually start buying. In this case, once you pull down the property prices, there would be an equilibrium between the buyers and the market. So once mag-equalize yan and you're in an equilibrium, that would only be for around 2 to 3 years. No, so it's only gonna happen for a while. There's a window of opportunity. No, it's not gonna be permanent. No, there is no real estate market in this world, no, even in developed countries, na balance lagi yung buyers and sellers. But of course, there's a window where it is a balance. So, sellers naman, hindi naman sila nalugi sa real estate because they've probably bought this property even lower than that one. They've probably earned 20% more from their initial total contract price compared to 50% dapat if they did not pull down the price. So probably they just lost around 30%, something like that. And buyers naman would feel na parang buying these properties are actually worth it. No, so that's what we want, an equilibrium between the market and the buyers. Now, during the correction, there would be a lot of opportunity because liquid buyers would start buying. Even the younger generation would now be able to afford real estate. Ang problem kasi is if hindi bumababa yung real estate prices, it would be really hard for them to be able to cope up with this. There is now an opportunity for investment. It's actually better for the market to have more transaction rather than selling at a high price pero konti lang yung bumibili, no? So mas maganda yung economic stimulation wherein everyone is buying property despite prices are low. And in that case, of course, the effect, property prices would start going up. So babalik tayo sa expansion phase. Little by little, people could do their old strategy wherein they buy low and then they start flipping property. And then we just go through this cycle over and over again. So in my previous podcast, specifically my interview with Colliers, head of research, Joey Bondoc, I actually told him that I do feel that as long as developers could actually hold on to their inventories, then we are doing okay. There is no need for a bubble. And this interview was done around 3 months ago. A month after, Ayala Land actually announced that they are holding the sales of their Loran unit, which is actually one of their most premium units, no? And they were offering refunds to the buyers of this property. And then weeks later, they also announced that they won't be pushing through with another project in Katipunan. So in this case, developers are actually having a hard time holding on to their properties. So it is a clear signal that we are actually heading in a bubble. And at this point, we really need it to heal the Philippine real estate market. Kasi ang hirap talaga eh, na parang we're just like at the tip of the peak trying to hold on. Bitaw na tayo para bumaba na yung real estate market prices. And we're really gonna be able to have a more balanced economy. Now, if you've been reading the news, developers are actually struggling these days with Ayala Land, for example, having around 300 billion worth of debt. But no need to be alarmed because Ayala Land naman have a lot of assets to cover this one. No? I actually published a report na about their asset liquidity ratio, etc. They just really need to sell probably more properties or sell out their inventories. No? Okay, so Ayala Land actually sold Alabang Town Center to Rockwell Land for around 13.5 billion pesos. So that is not enough to cover their debt. But then again, Ayala Land is actually good with land banking. So they actually have a lot of assets, no? They could actually sell some of this to their REIT or a REIT, no? Para ma-absorb nila in order for them to actually have more cash. So ang sinasabi lang dito na actually if you're an Ayala buyer, there's really no need to worry. No, it's more of the developer becoming more cautious din talaga. But in this case, I would say that a lot of their inventories are actually overvaluated. So this is the reason why they would need to pull down prices at around 30%. They're actually looking to increase their debt pa. So I'm still observing kung ano mangyayari in the next few months. Also, another benefit of correction would be increasing the yield. You have to remember that price and yield is actually inversely correlated. So the lower the price, the higher the yield that you will be getting. So if you are here for long-term game or you have like rental properties, that is actually better, no? Being able to buy at a very low price kasi hindi yan variable eh. Pero rental prices would eventually increase. Therefore, you're able to come up with actually a bit of a higher yield. Now, with all that's happening, and me as a consultant pushing for a real estate bubble, is it still okay to invest in real estate? Yes, I said before that real estate is a very homogeneous asset. There is actually no bad time to invest in property. It's really more of like bad strategies. So if you're planning to buy your real estate anytime soon, because there are really good payment terms and probably you can afford the monthly, you have to be willing to actually hold it. You cannot flip it anymore by the time of the turnover. So medyo hindi na gumagana yun or medyo mahirap ka. Even if you do, even if you're able to sell it by the time of the turnover, you might not really make a lot of money out of it. And then mataas pa yung cost, diba? You're going to have to pay for capital gains, broker's commission, etc. Remember, if you're buying real estate these days, remember that the goal is to hold it long term. Make sure that you can afford to hold it at least for a minimum of 10 years, no? Better if 15 to 20 years, no? So that is the game. For sure, you're gonna be able to make an income out of it. If you're an end user naman or if you're using this property, nothing to worry naman, no? Because in terms of bubble, it's really more of a perspective of investors. So let me just put it into context. I'm not saying that pre-selling properties are bad. In fact, I love pre-selling properties. I've bought almost all my properties pre-selling. I've actually recently bought one in Rockwell as well. But then, of course, you really have to understand that different properties would have specific risk. No? So not all the risks are the same for all properties. There are still certain properties that you can make money these days. Even if you're buying it pre-selling and doing the same old strategy of flipping it prior to the turnover, pwede pa rin yan. Pero hindi na siya pwede sa lahat ng properties. Very konti na lang yung properties na makakapagbigay sa inyo ng income before the actual turnover and by shelling out very little. So you really have to study it. You really have to have the right strategy. You really have to educate yourself. And in case this doesn't work, you really have to be ready for you to be able to pay the turnover balance either via bank loan or taking out high interest rates. No, kasi this is the risk that you take for investing real estate, which is actually okay. No? Because real estate has good return naman. We just really need to educate ourselves with the risk involved. The BSP or Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas actually regulated that the real estate prices should increase at around 12% per annum. So that is the average increase of real estate prices here in the Philippines. But then during the time of POGO, developers were increasing it 20 to 25% year on year. So it was very speculative. And we really did leverage on the payment capacities of the POGO. No? So now that they're actually gone, part of having a real estate bubble is being able to correct it na as if never tayo nagkaroon ng POGO. And this would have been the prices if never pumasok yung POGO dito sa Philippines. Again, just to remind you that there is a mismatch between demand and supply in real estate. A lot of developers started launching supplies when they saw the demand ng POGO and other international investors in the Philippines. By the time na tapos na yung real estate, baka wala na rin yung demand. Tulad ng nangyari before. Will POGO ever come back? I don't think so because there is a certain stigma na dito sa industry na to. But then, of course, another industry would eventually boom. No? And I can discuss that sa mga susunod na podcast. So given all that, me as a consultant, I'm very firm that we need a market cleansing. And of course, unrealistic expectations needs to be removed and overpricing needs to be corrected. So technically, for us to be able to succeed in this market correction or real estate bubble, we all have to work together, even as a developer, as an investor, even the brokers, the real estate professionals, the appraiser, as the consultants, no, and even the buyers. We all have to cooperate for us to actually make an opportunity out of a real estate bubble instead of us panicking. Kapag sabi kasi natin yung bubble, parang masama kagad yung iniisip ng mga tao. But it's actually a good thing because this is the only way we're able to correct the market. Correction could actually create better investors, better pricing, no? Probably better products because it's going to become more competitive. And of course, buyer can gain negotiating powers again. So I think it's fair lang kasi actually we don't really have an oversupply issue eh. Rather, it's an affordability issue eh. So if we can pull down the prices, then mawawala rin tong oversupply issue na to. So why am I campaigning for a real estate bubble? Well, for one kasi, the goal of real estate investing really is sustainability. It means na having a sustainable ecosystem where it's actually fair for all. It's not about being bullish or bearish. It's about having a sustainable market wherein developers could actually earn a profit, investors earn disciplined returns, and lenders are able to manage risk, no? And end users are able to afford property and enjoy these amenities, especially for condominiums, no? Na really they're getting what they paid for and the value for money dun sa ininvest nila. Okay, so I guess to end this podcast, let me just say na there is nothing dangerous about correction. In fact, it creates a lot of opportunity. Kung meron mang dangerous dito, it's in denial na malayo tayo sa real estate bubble, na okay pa yung nangyayari, na okay pa yung real estate pricing natin, no? So denial actually protects unrealistic prices and correction actually builds stronger foundation for long-term growth in the real estate market. So after listening to this podcast, do we really need a real estate bubble? Yes or no? Comment down below. I would like to hear your thoughts on this, no? And if you've invested recently and you're actually parang scared na, uy, ano ba naman yan? Yung consultant, sabi niya na ibaba yung real estate prices, malulugaw. Just hold on to your property. Just hold on to your asset. It's still gonna go back after a while, no? Ang mahirap kasi as long as we don't speculate on prices, as long as we don't rush the movement of the prices, then we will be able to hit a proper pricing wherein people could actually afford a 30 million two-bedroom property after a while. So do not panic, just hold on to it. So at the end of the day, real estate is a long-term game. The best investors are not the one who believes in every market is good. The best investors are the one who understand cycles and what to do during these cycles. So again, if you ask me if we really do need a real estate bubble, I would say maybe not in the way people would usually understand it or even the developers. But we do not need to panic. We do not need to crash. We do not need the market to collapse. We really need to have that proper mindset and proper discipline when it comes to real estate investing. So with that, I am actually looking for a real estate market to absorb, recover, and eventually grow again with stronger and healthier foundation. So if you have any questions, violent reactions, opinion on this, or if you agree with me or not, I would love to hear your thoughts and let's discuss it again in the next podcast. Again, my name is Richard Tadeus. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. And this is the Real Pro Podcast.